Okay, so just right click here if you would like to follow that, and a new class. And here I will name it rectangle or rect like this, and I will include a void main inside this class, and here that would create me the class. Rect here is the name of the class, and even if I have a main function inside here, this is called, it's still called a method of this class. If I would like to define the variable of the class, which is the first part, I will say, for example, integer height and integer width. So now I have two variables. I have two variables of this class. Okay, so I have a class now. Its name is rect. Have two variables of this class. I don't care now about those variables if they are private or public. And I have a method which is main method. Here inside the main, I can create object of the class. How can I create one object of this class? I will say rect, which is the name of the class. I will name my object as A, for example, equal new rect like this. So now I have an object. It's called A. Okay? How can I access those variables of the class? I can access the variable by dot. So if I would like to access the height, I will say a.height equal 10. So I assign inside the variable of a 10. A.width equal 20, for example. So if I would like to print that, system dot out dot print a dot height, for example. So now if I run that, the output should be 10. So I assigned the value of the height for this object as 10. But be aware that height equal 10 and width equal 20 for who? For the class rectangle or for the object A? It's not, this is very important, it's not for class rectangle. It's only for this object A. Because I can have another object like this. As many objects as I want. Rectangle B, this is another object. And rectangle B, if I said here P dot height, what is the variable here? What is the output here? It will be 10. Run and see. It will be 0. Why it will be 0? After 5 minutes I will tell you. But that's proved to you. Even if I assigned the value of height as 10, it's only assigned to this object, not for the class. If I create another object B, I would have to reassign again those variables. So each object, this is the powerful of object-oriented. I can have as many objects as I want. As we said, for persons, for you, for students, I can have 150 different objects. Each of them have different variables. So now, how can I define a method? We are agreed that a method is the function that we explained here. How can I do, like, for example, the area method? What is the area of rectangle? It's, I think, the height multiplied by the length, right? So I will say, for example, void area, and it should accept integer height, or I shouldn't accept anything here. I will do without anything here. Well, let me do it with integer h, integer w, like this. So this is void. It shouldn't be void. What is the meaning of void here before the name of the method? It means that it will not return anything, but I would like to return something. This is public here. What is the returning? I should return a double value. So what does that mean? It should return the multiplication of them together. So if I did here return, I can do it in one sentence. So I can do it directly to return. Return h multiplied by w. So it should now return what? This is h multiplied directly with w. How can I access that? I for sure do have a problem with that. Anyone fix it, this my code? Anyone fix my code? Anyone fix my code, guys? I have a main problem here. Yes, please. Okay, that's great. So I'm inside the main. So how can I define a method inside another method? So as I said, as I defined the variables, my variables here outside the main. So any method, because main itself is considered a method. So I don't define a method inside another method. So my method should be out of the main. So I have an area here, integer h and integer y. So now, how can I call this method? How can I call this method? So again, what I did is, I just have let's get rid now of this one. I have a rectangle A, which is an object of this class. I assigned its height as 10, and I assigned its width as 20. And I would like now to call this method. So I would like to do a dot area. What should I do here? So before I do that, I will remove this one from here. Let me do it here. A dot height and a dot width. So now what's happening here? As we said before, as long as I have a function or a method and I have two inputs, what I pass here will go directly to this one. So I am expecting a dot height to go to h and a dot width to go to w. And whatever returned will return to this one. So if I run that, I should expect to have 200. What is 200? Is a multiplication of 10 multiplied by 20. Let me emphasize that to understand. So I will not do it in one statement. I will say double area or A underscore area. This is a double value. And I will say A underscore area equal H multiplied by W. And I will return what here? A underscore area. Okay? This function do what? It accept two different variables, H and W. Multiply them together, vote the value of the multiplication inside area, and return this one to whatever call it. Here, I will call it. I will say double result, and I will say result equal A dot area, A dot height, A dot width. And then here, I just will output the result. This is I just broke it. So let's go one by one here. So here I have an object A. What is this object? It's of type rectangle. And I assign the height and width of this rectangle to 10 and 20. Then I called this function, this method here. I can call it with this object as long as it's inside this object. And I pass to it as an input the value of height and width of A, which I assigned 10 and 20. And then whatever this function is executed, it should return the variable or the output to result. Okay? So here, when I call it here, the A.h will go to this one H, A.width will go to W, multiplication will happen, whatever returned here as A.area will return back to this result. If I output this result, I have it here like 200. This is why I emphasize. Yeah, so another method inside my class. If I would like to do another method to do the perimeter. What is the perimeter of a rectangle? 2h plus 2w, right? You know that? You know the perimeter of a rectangle? What's the equation of that? because the other thing is the same. 2h plus 2w, right? So I can do another. If I would like to do another method, I can simply do that. Here it's called perimeter. And instead of this one, it will be 2 multiplied by h plus 2 multiplied by w. And I will return here, I will call this one as p, for example. And here p will equal that. And will I return p. Is that okay? So here I can, instead of this one, and I pass a dot height, for example, and a dot width. Okay, so I created another method and I called it in the same way. I can create as many methods as I want inside my class and call this one. If I run that, should be, okay, it will be 60. Why is 60? 2 multiplied by 20 plus 40, which is 60. Right? So I can add as many as I want. Any questions?